Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good day to our esteemed panel of judges. I am Hakim, project leader of Team Nexora from Universiti Pertahanan Nasional Malaysia, UPNM, presenting alongside my teammate Syirah, Dalili and Awatif. In today's data-driven landscape, conducting rigorous statistical analysis often demands a steep coding learning curve, whether it's writing custom R scripts or navigating complex statistical software. This creates a major barrier for non-technical students, academic researchers, and industry professionals who simply need fast and reliable conclusions. To solve this, we developed Nexora, a digital innovation powered by R and Shiny that fully automates end-to-end statistical workflows with zero codes required.
As for my part, I will demonstrate on how our system uploads and reads a dataset and then automatically generates the summaries. First of all, in the preview data part, once I upload the dataset student performance, the system immediately shows a sample of the data. We can see the columns such as gender, race or ethnicity, parental level of education, lunch, and test preparation costs. Therefore, this proves that the system can parse any dataset without manual coding. Next, in the column data types part, the system automatically detects the data type of each column. For example, gender and race or ethnicity are recognized as categorical, while math score, reading score, and writing score are recognized as numeric. As a result, we immediately know which type of analysis is suitable. After that, in the missing values breakdown part, the system checks for missing values. Interestingly, every column shows that zero missing values, 0%. Consequently, this means the dataset is complete and we can proceed with analysis without any extra cleaning. Furthermore, in the quantitative summary matrix part, the system automatically generates statistics for numeric columns. For instance, math score has a mean of 66.09, a median of 66, a minimum of 0, a maximum of 100, and a standard deviation of 15.16. In addition, the system also calculates the quantiles such as Q1 and Q3, which show the spread of scores across the lower and upper ranges. In other words, this statistic gives us a clear picture of overall student performance and variation. On the other hand, in the qualitative frequency table part, the system produces frequency tables for categorical columns. For example, in gender, we can see 518 female, which is 51.8%, and 482 male, where it represents 48.2%. Therefore, we can quickly understand the distribution of categories without manual counting. And importantly, we can switch the categories. For instance, instead of gender, we can select race or ethnicity or lunch type and immediately see the frequency breakdown for that variable. In summary, by moving through each part, preview data, column data types, missing values, quantitative summary, and qualitative frequency, we can see how the system automatically provides the metadata, missing values checks, quantitative summaries including quantiles and categorical frequency tables with flexible category switching. As a result, we gain a complete overview of the dataset in just a few clicks.
Next, we have the data visualization. So we have a few graph options that we can choose based on what we need from the data set itself. So here we can choose from histogram, box plot, scatter plot, bar chart, and pie chart. So here we can see the histogram from the data set that I chose, which is student performance data set. Here, we can see the numeric variable is what writing score, but we have another options to choose, which is math score and reading score. Okay, let's see. For math score, we have this histogram, and for reading score, we have this. So for the number of pins here, it is the range of the histogram. So we can play along with this based on our reference for the histogram. Next, we have the box plot. Here the box plot categorical variable here is gender for for math math score, and then we can change based on what we want to know. Here for the reading score, you can play along with it to know to get your information. And then next we have scatter plot. Here we have the x variable here as the math score, and the y here we have the reading score. So we can just play along how we want it to be. Writing score as the x, and then math score as the y. It change based on what you choose here. And then bar chart is also the same as others, but it's more simple. And last but not least is pie chart, the same as previously, which is bar chart. Same. You can just choose whatever you want here to get the information that you need. Okay, that's all.
The inferential statistic, which is hypothesis testing and regression and correlation. For hypothesis testing, Nexora removed the friction from complex statistical testings. Users can effortlessly select the test types such as one sample t-test or two sample independent t-tests. And then significance levels is already like we can also choose which one we want to use, and then we also can select either which quantitative variable that we want users that want to use, which is math score, reading score, or writing score. And then for the hypothesis mean, users can select either they want to use a zero mean, one, or any mean that they want to use. And the directions, we have three directions, which is two-sided, greater or less. And then the Nexora apps will generate the hypothesis testing, which is like this. It will show like this. The first one, it shows test hypothesis and specifications, method, sample size, null, and alternative. And then it also shows the statistical test result. It has test method, degrees of freedom, t-statistic, p-value, alpha, and 95% of TI. And then it also shows the conclusions and decision. For these data that we want to use, we will get these conclusions and decisions, which is the decisions is we reject the null hypothesis. There is sufficient statistical evidence to support the alternative hypothesis. And then it shows like this. And now we're moving on to the regression and correlation. In this part, user also can choose whether they want to use their x and y variable. For x variable predictor, the users can choose either they want it as math score, reading score, or writing score. And also for y variable, they can choose either these three score that they want to use. And then there's two correlation method, which is Pearson and Spearman. And when you click the run analysis, it will show the correlation result. And then for regression summary and explicit model, it shows like this. That's how you get the result for regressions and correlation.
Now, to make sure anyone can use Nexora even without a background in statistics, we built the Help and Decision Guide tab. If you're ever unsure which test to run, this built-in guide pairs your specific research question directly with the right statistical tool. Whether you're comparing two groups, checking if an average hits a benchmark, or looking for trend formulas, the guide tells you exactly what data columns you need and which module to pick. It breaks everything down into a simple 4-step workflow: upload, visualize, test significance, and model relationships. And behind the screens, we also focus on heavily making Nexora completely crash-proof. We wrote defensive validation logic directly into the backend, so if a user uploads a messy data, missing rows, or zero variance column, the app won't break or throw raw red arrow. As you can see, there's no messy data, missing rows, or zero variance column, as I was saying. So the app won't break or throw raw red error codes. Instead, it will give you a clean, helpful prompts to guide you back on track. Ultimately, Nexora takes complex data science and turned it into a fast, effortless tool for everyday research. On behalf of Universiti Pertahanan Nasional Malaysia and Team Nexora, thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to your feedback. Thank you.